all too well. You see, my pain started at the age of 4, when my dad decided to leave me and my mother. Raising up a mother, a single mother of just myself, of course there were times where I asked questions as to why my dad left me. To see her struggling just to take care of me. But she never gave me answers to the questions I was being asked. I will always ask her, where's my dad? Where is he? I need phone number. I don't want to reach out to know my father. But of course, he still don't answer. So as I began to grow up, middle school, I began to look for that boy that was missing. So of course, like any other teenage girl, get into boys, like the boys, this, that, and the other. As I got into high school, I want to say my sophomore year, I had a good friend of mine. Me and him was close. He has passed on, but I met my quote-unquote the love of my life. I was 15, and this particular day, I was walking to my aunt's house, and he was over there, the guy that I thought was my everything. So he introduced us, things were okay at the beginning. This was somebody I believe was the apple of my eye. He's fine, he got a good eye, this, that, and the other. So we began to date. He eventually moved in with myself and my mother. Again, 15 and in high school. So I got pregnant at the age of 15 with my first child. Again, things were good at the beginning. And I said to myself, because my father had left me, I wanted to make sure that my daughter had everything that she needed. I didn't want her to have nothing. So I worked, did what I had to do up until I gave birth to my daughter. I was working at a fast food restaurant, and this particular night, I had got off work. I want to say it was maybe about 10:30 at night. And I had called him, no answer. Kept calling, no answer. So I took it upon myself to go ahead and walk home. Of course, I could have called a taxi, I could have called my mom, but she worked nights at this particular time, so I didn't want to wake her up. So from where I worked until where I lived, it took me a good 20 minutes to get home. Mind you, I'm 8 months pregnant, walking at night by myself. So eventually I made it home, of course, tired, pained, but he still didn't make it home. I'm still calling, trying to find out where he was. So he came in maybe sometime later. Of course, I'm mad and furious, because I want to know why you left me out there. And not knowing that I had to be picked up from work. So we got in a big argument. The very first time he put his hand on me that night, he pushed me down, and I fell to the ground. And I was in shock because this is the man that I felt was my everything, and that was a void that I wanted to be filled. So I began to cry, and I sat down there for a while. And of course, I guess he felt some kind of guilt, because he kind of reached up for me and said, I'm sorry, and gave me a hug, and I would never do that again. That was the very first time that he put his hands on me. Of course, I stayed with him. We had our daughter. We had arguments after that incident. Then I ended up getting pregnant with my son. And this time we ended up moving out of my mom's house and into our own. So I was pregnant with my son at the age of 19. Now we have 2 kids. Still doing what I need to do as a mother to provide for my son and my daughter. Again, a lot of black eyes, bust the lips arguments, a lot that my kids heard as well as seen in the household. The very last incident that kind of put the icing on the cake was a particular night. The apartment complex that we lived in, of course, he had friends that he would hang out with. This particular night, he decided to go out to hang out with his friends just next door to the building that we lived in. I had put my kids down to sleep. They were in the back. And for some reason, I can't remember what it was, but I needed him to come in the house for something. So I called out to him because I was able to see him. And I called out to him, he didn't come. So I tried to be bad, walk up to him, kind of front him off, something I shouldn't have done. To him, I guess that's disrespect. You don't do that in front of my peoples, my boys. So I said some selected words that I needed to say. I felt bad doing it, but it is what it is. So as soon as I came back into the house, no sooner after I came in, he came coming through the door. automatically just starts hitting on me. We get into a tussle match, fight. I'm getting punched, slapped, this, that, and the other. So I was able to get up and run into my bedroom. He comes behind me, grabs me by my hair, and throws me on the bed. Then he proceeds to get on top of me. At this particular time, he begins to choke me. Literally choking and choking and choking. And I'm doing my best to pry his hands off of around my neck, but I couldn't. He's overpowering me. And he's stronger than me. And I can just remember crying and just asking God, please God, don't let him do this, don't let him do this. And at that particular moment, I must have blacked out. All I saw was white. That's all I saw was white. And for a few minutes, I'm out, but I'm still laying on the bed. And as I come to, his hands are literally still around my neck. And I'm grasping for air. Again, praying, and tears were just falling. God, don't let him take my life. I can't. I need my babies. I need my babies. My babies need me. So finally, he was able to let me go. And I remember sitting up against my headboard with my face in my hands and just crying. Just crying. And I can hear him in the background fondling through the dressers, and I can hear movement, but I didn't look up at that time. So then he says, is this the way you want to die? And I look up like, what are you talking about? He literally had a gun to my head. And said, okay, you want to be bad, you want to do this, you want to do that. Okay, you're going to die tonight. Your kids will no longer have a mother. Because if I can't have you, no one else